Okay, good evening, and welcome to Ag Talk and Raw, where we're going to talk about the things that I want to talk about because this is not a live broadcast. But there's a lot of questions that need to be answered here. But I'm going to start it off by saying it's Christmas Eve, and I'd like everybody out there just watching this thing to have a great Merry Christmas. And if you celebrate Kwanzaa, Happy Kwanzaa. If you celebrate Hanukkah, Happy Hanukkah. If you celebrate Festivus for the rest of us, then Happy Festivus. If you don't know what that is, go back and watch Seinfeld. One of the last episodes, they did Festivus for the rest of us. And those are for the people that don't celebrate Christmas or have families that really care about Christmas. So that's what we do. I am not a Festivus celebrator. I celebrate Christmas, even though I'm not the most religious person. But anyways, what I want to talk about is the stuff at the end of the year. It is the end of 2017. And although we have had some awesome yields for, corn and soybeans, and wheat was good. The consensus that I have is that 2017 was really a pretty crappy year. I'd say it's crappy for everybody in agriculture, from the organic guys right on down to the lowly dairy farmer who has struggled for the last God knows how many years because nobody wants to pay for milk. Even the hay guy, myself included, had a great yield this year. Did very well. Can't complain at all for the amount of hay that I've got. I've sold it. It's all sold. Did I get the price I'd like to? Hell no. Where it should be and where it is are two very different things. I would say to comfortably expand the business, hay should need to be somewhere around $115 a ton for mulch hay. For quality hay, should be somewhere up around $280 a ton, which $250 to $280 a ton. But even then, I would still do mulch hay. I would do a little more good hay, but whatever. Corn, record yield, 517 bushels. Wow, that's insane. It costs a lot of money to do that, but in the end, it actually brings down the price of grain. So even though everybody had awesome yields, and I'm not saying everybody, but 90% of the country had awesome yields, the pricing is just terrible. And that's what brings me to speak about agriculture and the way that it is, and why are the grain prices so low versus hay and grain and animal prices, everything. Just ridiculous. We have the highest inputs ever in the history of the world to grow a crop for people that don't really understand agriculture at all and what it takes to keep them rolling. We are less than 1% of the general population, agriculturalists, farmers, myself included, that are feeding 99.1%, 99.1%, because only 0.9% are actual producers. Now, you can be a horse farmer and claim you're a farmer, but you're not really a farmer because nobody eats horses, at least not in this country. Maybe in other countries they do, and something just exploded. Hey, did you hear that explosion? That was an explosion. The whole house just shook. What do you mean you didn't feel that? Okay, yeah, it was a hell of a bomb. Wow. Anyway, back to what I'm talking about here is general public, as long as they can stick that hamburger in their mouth or that hummus in their face or whatever they're doing, and it's cheap enough that they can continue to buy high-ticket items that don't include food, they're happy. There was a little thing that came out on Facebook, and it said, Farmer, the art of losing money while working 400 hours a week to feed people that think we're trying to kill them. I'm going to be sewing that onto shirts and things because I think that that's really just sums it up. I mean, most people think that farmers are rich people that are trying to kill them with the food that we produce. The unfortunate reality is that we're trying to feed people that are ungrateful, that really don't value what we do on a daily basis. They don't value what we do at all, to be quite honest with you. Just going down the roads and in a tractor and getting the middle finger and the general disrespect that we do get. And I think it's worldwide. I honestly do. I think it's worldwide. Maybe not in some third world countries, because honestly, I've been to a third world country, two third world countries now, yes, and they respect farmers in the country because city people don't leave the city there. They generally just stay in their cities, and that's that. But for the most part, when you're out in the province areas and third world countries, they respect one another there. Maybe not all, but from what I saw, I think it's a more friendly place over there than it is here in the United States because, but anyways, that's just me talking here. I've got lots and lots of questions here, and I'm sorry if I don't answer them all. I know that someone here recently contacted me, and they're like, "Oh, you only read certain comments." Like, well, that's true. So, because I only have so much time. I mean, if I get over 20 minutes, people stop watching. So, anyways, does anybody know if it's possible to press the like button more than once? It is not, unless you have more than one channel. Then you can go and assign yourself to each channel and do that, like my videos all the time, and that's fine. Thanks for the info and being unsubscribed. Never noticed it was done to me also. So yes, people are getting unsubscribed from my channel, and it's not something that I'm doing. It's something that Google is doing, and that's okay because I'm a loudmouth, and a lot of people just don't like what I have to say, like, the realities of agriculture. We can grow a bumper crop every year and, build bins and bigger combines and have better equipment all day long, but if the price isn't there to pay for those pieces of equipment, what good is it? I mean, what's the sense in growing bumper crops every year to produce cheap food and put ourselves out of business? It is an unfortunate reality that farmers in general don't understand the simple supply and demand ratio. It's like when supply is low and demand is high, we get more money. The problem is when we get more money, we buy bigger tractors, bigger combines, better corn planters, better seed genetics and all this stuff, and then we supply a bigger, and more people grow the crop that is paying the most, and then boom, we've got this huge surplus of food, and then there's this demand that's down here. So when your demand is off and your supply is high, what do you do with it? It rots in the fields in piles or in bins where bugs can get them, and it's crazy how it works. I wish the farmers would organize a little bit here. I mean, if we all got together and said, hey, you know what, we're going to set aside 10 acres, each of us are going to set aside 10 acres, or hey, we're only going to fertilize to produce up to 150 bushels to the acre, and we'll supply enough food to feed the world, but we're going to get paid to do it. I think that if everybody withheld for 1 month, no grain going to the elevators, that I think it would create a military response to force U.S. farmers or farmers in general around the world to sell grain, or they would confiscate it. I'm sure there's some kind of legislature somewhere that fucks the farmer in the ass somewhere, because let's face it, farmers actually could control the world with just a simple withholding of our grain. We could control our own pricing, and I think as these mega farms, the really big ones, get going more and more, that they are going to start to do that. So as mom and pop operations, family farms start to dwindle and die off, which they have been since the early 80s, really in a massive die off of the family farm. And these mega farms are buying up 20, 30, 40, 100,000 acre lots, big companies like Poet and Cargill and, even, what the hell is it? Buffett, not Howard Buffett is buying up a bunch of ground. And, as they buy this ground and they produce huge blocks of grain, they can control the price themselves, so there is going to be a shift in the way that grain is sold and the amount of money that is produced by the small farmers, but it's all going to be dictated by big monopolized farmers, because when you're big like that, you can buy fertilizer cheaper, fuel cheaper. You can buy your electric cheaper because you make deals with electric companies because you're a huge consumer of these products. You can make better deals through the equipment companies because you're not buying one tractor, you're buying 10. Or you're leasing, these leases and stuff. So the big guy's really going to control the whole ball of wax there. And when they do gain enough traction and enough control of a large enough block that they can say, hey, you know what? We're not gonna take grain for 2 weeks, and that'll put a shock into the system. Now, whether they do it or not, I don't know. But I mean, that's how I would do it. I'd be a sinister bastard. I would be like, hey, you know what? I've got 25 million bushels of corn that needs to go out in the next 12 months, and I'm only going to take one. I can take 1 million bushels out, not 2. I mean, that's half of what I produce, so that'll slow some stuff down and actually raise up the price of grain. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But anyways, I better just shut up on my weird theories that I have and go ahead and read some comments. When do you find time for paperwork? Well, I hate paperwork. I really do. And it's really hard. But I do, once a month, I do my paperwork. It's not easy, but I do it, So, yeah. Iowa Dairy Boys. What? Will you do any more logging this winter? Yes, I'm going to be doing some tree cutting, lumber, because I got some things that need to be done. Yeah, thanks for the information, Wes. Keep it up. Well, you're welcome. This is something that I did not know and I think should be implemented into the United States to save on idiots becoming farmers. And that is, in Germany, it is common to do a 3-year farming apprenticeship, even for farmers' sons. In the first year, you're in school. In the second and third years, you're working on 1 or 2 farms being taught by the farmer. Now, here in the United States, we are a capitalist society. So if we want to, say I was the stock boy at the local general store, and I see all these farmers going up and down the roads, and they're driving fancy new tractors, and I say, hey, you know what? I got enough money saved up. I'm gonna go rent that ground away from them and get some tractors. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna do it, and you do it, and it takes away from the local farmers that know what they're doing. It takes that land away from them, screws it up for a while, makes a hell of a mess. I've seen this happen multiple times over the years, and I do believe that there should be an apprenticeship with farming. Now, the schooling part, you shouldn't be forced to go to a college to become a farmer, but you should, I agree with an apprenticeship over schooling. Because I know a lot of educated morons, and when I say educated morons, I'm talking about people that go to school to learn how to be a farmer. They read it in books that were written in the 50s on how to be a farmer today, and then they just get turned loose like, yay, I've got an education. I can go down to Farm Credit. I can get a bunch of money, and they will lend it to you. And then I can go down to the John Deere dealership because I got a bunch of money. I can buy all this brand new equipment. I'm going to be a farmer and screw things up. 3-4 years later, they're bankrupt, broke, depleted their trust funds, and poof, here I come back in, the educated farmer through experience, and I pick the ground up and go fix it up again and get it back into production the way it should be done. So, hi Wes, food isn't expensive in the European Union. It's just people think what they put in their mouths. And it's surprising you haven't seen a lot of fat people in the UK. I lived in the UK for a couple of years, and they just eat junk food. Well, I wasn't in the cities, and I wasn't in the towns. I mean, I went into London town, and I thought London was not even, there were no English there. I thought I was in Pakistan, for Christ's sakes. But no, I can honestly say that I did not see any people that were not healthy. You know, I mean, if you've ever been to the in the United States, you'll see a lot of unhealthy fat people. Now, there are some heavy people in the European Union and the United Kingdom. Of course there are. But they work, they walk, they're out and about. They're what I saw, I thought was a healthier society. Yes, they do watch what they put in their mouths. I do. A soda once in a while. Teresa has this bad habit of buying chocolates, but I like those. So I eat that crap, but I'm not fat. So anyway, yeah, let's get on to the next one. 16-year-old kid was killed recently, articulated loader rollover. He was in the middle of feedlot moving manure. Well, putting kids in heavy equipment without proper training is a death sentence. It just is. This guy says the front tires on your 5020 seem awful small. Are they stock or just some spares you had laying around? Well, they were spare tires. The stock tires were 9.50 20s, and they're very expensive, hard to find, and I just don't like them. So I took those off and put the those 12.5, 12, 11L, 12L, 16 5s, or 15, 12, 15 5s. I don't even know. I'd have to go look. I can't remember. Not trying to judge, but why don't you clean your place up and get organized? Well, whoever said that my place was not organized? It's organized chaos. If you don't like it, the unsubscribe button is right there. And my house is clean and organized. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You know? You're not sorry, LOL. I really enjoyed the video. No, I'm not really sorry. You know? Yeah, that's it. Oh, wait, there was one in here that I really wanted to read out loud. I bought that same Sobe crap the other day. Oh, that was from that awful drink. God, I saw it. I just can't see it now. What do I think about California's law against cattle producing methane gas? What do I think? California. End of story. You know? End of story. With the massive amount of bales that you produce, have you considered a baler-mounted accumulator? No, it won't work on the farm. Not my farm. It's more for level ground. I'm just not going to go there. You get into wet hay, wet weather, wet hay, those things just don't work for that. They're great for great dry places where you can turn off the water. Where the hell is this question? Processed foods with preservatives and other unknown additives are the problem. I agree with that. They are the problem. They really are the problem. All right. Hitler wanted the Ukraine the breadbasket of the USSR. That is true. That is what Adolf Hitler wanted. So that was a reply to the me saying that the last, all wars in the last millennia were fought over land for food because of hungry people. Someone did not agree with that, and I'm okay with that. It's fine. You don't have to agree with me. That's the wonderful thing about the internet. If you don't agree with what I say, that's okay. I don't mind. It's perfectly fine by me. Here it is. Let's see if I can sum up the rambling diatribe. Diatribe? Diatribe. That's a new word for me. Never read that one before. It says, life sucks, then you die. Got it? Well, I have a great dislike for that comment. Just for the simple reason is, I have a positive outlook on life. I've been dealt some shitty hands, and I always come out of them seemingly ahead. And if you think that life sucks and then you die, by golly, your life is going to suck and then you will die. I think that life is what you make it. If you feel that life sucks and then you die, you will have a shitty life, and that's just the long and the short of it. You wake up every morning and say, well, today's going to suck just like yesterday. I guarantee you today is going to suck just like yesterday because you will make it that way. I've had some really bad luck in the last 3 years. I'd say about the last 3 years. I don't show all of my horrible things that happened to me on YouTube, but there were some pretty horrible things that had happened to me that you'd wonder why I'm still here, why I haven't put a 45 in my mouth and blown the backside of my brain out. But you know what? I looked for the positives, and I seemed to come through it okay. A lot less richer than I was, but I came through it okay. So yeah, if you're gonna have a shitty life, you can make that life shitty, or you can pull yourself up by the bootstraps and change things, like your attitude for one thing. Anyways, done enough of that one. Milk shortage in Florida. Whatever, 20 per 100 right now, supply and demand. It's not rocket science. So somehow there is a milk shortage in Florida, which I'm surprised because they just ship it down from somewhere else. $20 a 100. Probably maybe make some money at that. Maybe. I know when we were milking cows and it got up to $18 a 100, we were breaking even. That's about it. We weren't even able to buy a new tractor with that kind of money. It was terrible. I call BS the 4960 would not lose to that. LOL, am I wrong? The 4960 would be drug around the field backwards by the 8530. I mean, you're putting a lot of stock. Even if you weighted the 4960 down to its proper maximum power to weight ratio and the tires inflated perfectly, the 8530 could sloppily just tear that tractor in half. So yeah, you're wrong. 4960 was a great tractor, don't get me wrong, but it is no comparison to today's modern 8000 series tractors, even the R series. I mean, even the Aught series, the 8400 would rape the 4960. They're just a different class of tractor. Believe me, I've pulled things that I used to pull with the 4960, and wow, it's a huge difference. The 8120 is actually a little less horsepower than the 4960, but it pulls more. It would pull more. Let's see what we got. Do you still have the sawmill? Yes, I do still have the sawmill, and I'm going to be working with the sawmill very soon. I have some cedar that I need to cut for the front of my house. I'm going to be doing some really cool woodwork on the front of my house, and I'm going to be using red cedar. So that's coming out. Any input on growing hemp? We can now grow in Wisconsin. Well, if you can grow hemp in Wisconsin, go for it. Somebody else was telling me that hemp actually will pollinate with marijuana and reduce the THC amount. So that's one way to put out these growers of marijuana. It'll just knock the THC right out of their hemp. Or out of their marijuana. They'd probably be pissed about it and burn down the hemp fields. But, who knows? Anyway, I've been talking for 23 minutes, so I'm going to let this one go. Thanks for watching. Please comment, rate, and subscribe for more if you like it. Tell your friends about it. Go on to other farming channels and say, hey, check out that Ag Talking to Raw. He's kind of a weird guy, but he does his job. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again on Wednesday. Don't forget to check out One Lonely Farmer if you haven't already done so. Right there, OLF.